And Richard, I was just going to wonder, I mean, you're an academic professor, you're a professor as well, and you teach undergraduate students, I believe, as well. I mean, if you were to pass on a couple of tips from just your own experience over the years, just teaching these kids, students, especially the undergraduate, what are some things you feel you've noticed and where you feel students should be aware of and people may end up watching this at some point?
I think two things really when students are picking subjects, which is often you find students when they're selecting a course that they want to do, which is they just go down a certain narrow route. Maybe it's no more than 6 or 7 subjects that they'll ever think about as subjects to study at university. But what Tom was indicating about it, interdisciplinary approaches. At Sussex, we value interdisciplinary very highly. It's at the very, almost at the DNA of the university, really. And I think that any student coming to do any degree should be looking really to be thinking about where do I want to go myself? But this is an education is one step of a lifelong journey. It's not the only step. And then they need to be thinking about pulling all those different intellectual subjects together, whether they're interested in science or whether they're interested in the social studies or the humanities or whatever. I really encourage students to think widely, because they'll be a lot better off when they come here if they've thought widely at the very outset. And the second thing I would reinforce is this idea of both developing your own interests, but also about learning the kind of personal skills of studying. They are hugely important, and that's true wherever you go to. I'm a professor of history here at this university. I was brought up and trained in the United States, so I can speak on the North American and UK context very well. And I for my job, as I'm Director of International Recruitment and Development for Sussex, I also travel all over the world in different university systems. And what I often see in those different systems is a little bit of rigidity, perhaps, in the way that students are thinking and learning. And they need to be opening up that kind of critical, analytical ability. Doing the self-guided reading is vitally important, because whatever a lecturer or a professor or a teacher is telling a student, ultimately the real value added is always in what extra they do. Yeah. That extra 10, 20, 30, 40% extra of the time makes the big difference. That's when they see the connection points, those interdisciplinary links, those connections from one part of science into another, or one academic discipline into another. And that's where the extra value comes to play. And when you get to university, whichever one it is, really, it's using those skills that enable you to then distinguish yourself as a really good student going forward, really.
So it's really